Hello and welcome, Inspired Podcast community. This is your new episode. My name is Caroline, and my today's guest is Kevin Wayne Johnson. Hello, and yeah, how are you doing today?
I am doing well, Carolyn. Thank you so much for having me. Looking forward to it.
Yes, me too. And I would love to introduce you to the audience, of course. You are the CEO of the Johnson Leadership Group LLC, specializing in leadership development training and executive coaching for organizations. And my first question to you is, how has your leadership development training transformed the organizations you've worked with?
Well, the work that we do in terms of training these aspiring leaders as well as seasoned leaders in these organizations is to get them to really think about both what's going on in the mind and what's going on in the heart, and to work on aligning both because that will make them the best leader. From the heart, we demonstrate value, care, respect, and honor of the people that we're leading. And then, of course, from the mind, we're able to demonstrate our subject matter expertise, our intelligence, and our acumen. Again, when those two align, we are now well on our way to helping organizations and those leaders to be the best that they can be because we have the team of people first and foremost on our minds.
Yes, thank you so much for explaining it to me. So that means you always need both the mind and the heart.
Yes, absolutely.
I love that. Okay, let me take a look at my next question. What are the key challenges leaders face today, and how do you address them in your coaching?
Oh, wow. Great question, Carolyn. Well, the biggest challenge that all leaders have across the board is people, dealing with the personalities, dealing with the differences of how they were raised, the different issues and circumstances that they have themselves in, developing them, working with them, getting them into the right training. So we always remind leaders that your biggest challenge are going to be the people that you're leading, but the best way to overcome that challenge is to always be in the mind frame of you're there to support, you're there to serve, and you're there to develop. And that's what helps us to overcome any and all challenges that we have. When people know that their leader is really interested in their development and their well being, they will perform at a high level and they will be high producers. It only happens that people don't perform when they don't feel that their leaders really care and are there to support them. So that's the underlying message that we have to overcome any and all challenges that we have as leaders.
Wow, I love that. The greatest challenge of leaders are the people. And because
Yeah,
I would say you cannot control them or manipulate, you don't want that. You want to lead from your heart. You talked about that. And then, yes, and people follow leaders because they
mhm,
want to, right? And if they are not inspired to stay, then they will leave the leader.
absolutely. That's it. They don't leave the organization, they leave
Mhm.
the leader, they leave that person.
Yes, because the person is not authentic.
Hmm. Absolutely. And people can pick up on whether or not we bring ourselves in a way in which we're genuine and we're real and authentic. People can always tell. They don't usually say anything, but they know, and usually their actions will follow.
Yes, they don't say anything. We in Germany, I think we say they vote with their feet. Does
Yes, they
this
do.
exist? When they walk away from you or something? Not from you, I mean from the leaders you are not coaching yet, because when they are coached by you, it doesn't happen anymore.
Absolutely, Carol, and that's exactly what takes place. We call it that the same thing. They vote with their feet. They leave.
Wow. They leave, they never come back. Yes, they are seeking for another leader
Hmm.
that is better person to, let's say, what is the word? Yes, you called it serving. The leader, the role is to serve the
Yes.
employee,
Hmm.
and to develop their potential.
Absolutely. That's it. And when we serve people, that's exactly what we're doing. We're developing them. We're providing opportunities for them. We're suggesting different training programs for them, giving them the tools and the systems that they need to succeed. But equally important, and in addition to all of that, we're giving ourselves. And that's where the service comes in. We're giving of ourselves, where we're coaching and we're mentoring and we're showing them the way. We're being the example and the role model for them to emulate when they get into leadership positions. So all of that is taking place in the role of the leader. And that's why it's so incredibly important.
Yes, I understand, because you can only give what you have, right? If you
True.
don't have it, if you don't have authenticity or inspiration, yeah, that's true.
Absolutely.
I love what you do already. So,
All right. Good.
can you can you share a success story where your executive coaching made a significant impact on a leader's career?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. So coaching is so incredibly important because the person that's being coached can't see his or her blind spots, but the coach can. The person that we're coaching can't necessarily see his or her potential, but the coach can see it. And so giving people the confidence and demonstrating that we have faith in their ability can be life changing, both personally and professionally. So I have really many examples, Carolyn, of helping people to really believe in themselves as a coach above and beyond where they were, that they can get a certain job done, that they can do a presentation in front of 1,000 people, that they can carry out the mandate for the mission and vision for their organization, like they're entrusted to do. Many people just don't have the faith or belief in themselves that they can get it done. But the coach is there to encourage, to inspire, and to motivate. That's really the role of what a coach does. And in doing so, we see a life transformation taking place. Excuse me. And it builds up so much confidence and faith in them that now they can go out and conquer the world. I see it happen all the time.
Oh, I love what you shared. Thank you so much. Also, talking about faith, of course, it's so important, and believing in yourself. So, you said a coach is there to encourage the people to believe
Yes,
in themselves. And of course, they can borrow your belief in them until they build their own belief, right?
absolutely. That's it right there. So just continuing to pour into people as a coach builds them up. And as we build them up, they get more and more confident. And then they are actually going to do an assignment or work on a project. And they see now that they have what it takes to get it done when they didn't think so. And it makes a huge difference. So, encouragement, inspiration, and motivation are those three words, those three descriptive words that I use a lot in the life of a coach in terms of what we bring and how we help people.
And that all leads to empowerment, right? So they don't need the coach anymore, or not the same. They have another one, and because the goals change,
Hmm.
the goal
Absolutely.
changes. Okay, so my next question is about your own coaches. Do you have coaches and mentors for yourself? And who was the best coach you ever had?
Oh, yes. I definitely have coaches in my life, and I definitely have mentors in my life. I always have, and quite frankly, always will. One of the mentors that came into my life when I was very, very young in my government career, him and I are still good friends. He's actually a neighbor. He lives within 2 miles of where I live. And it started with him just being a role model and an example of someone that I saw, a senior executive, and I wanted to aspire to be a senior executive. And the way he carried himself, the way he spoke, his reputation, how he handled staff meetings, I just really admired it. And one day I had enough confidence to just walk up to him and ask, would you be so kind to mentor me? Now, this is after I introduced myself, but I asked him, would you take me under your wing and give me some guidance and some direction on what to do and how to do it? And he said yes. And that was so long ago, Caroline. And him and I are still real good friends, and we still stay in touch. We go out periodically on Saturday mornings for breakfast. But what was so life changing about it was, number one, that he said yes, but number two, that he actually kept his word and continued to mentor and continued to coach me, even though he had to move around the country for different assignments. We stayed in touch. And ultimately, like I said, over time, we became good friends. He became my inspiration, he became my motivation. And because I saw him doing it, he gave me the belief that I could too. And this was long before I actually got to that level, many years before I got there. But then once I got there, I was able to implement and put to use a lot of what he shared with me. So that was a life defining moment, a career changing moment, and one of those times in your life that you always remember and you're always thankful for.
Yes, I see. And I love that you were brave enough at that time to ask, because sometimes
Yeah.
it only takes the question you ask, or the courage to walk to that person, to just ask, and
Yeah.
to go outside your comfort zone as well. And then you talked about that you stayed in touch. So, and you said it was many years ago. So I assume that there were no social media like
No.
nowadays, so to
Yeah.
say. So
No
people
social
cannot
media
imagine.
and no mobile phones either.
Yeah, you see, so it was not so easy to stay in touch at that time. We have to explain this for for the younger people. There was a time without internet, and social media came only 2007. For yeah, it's I know it's it's a long time either, but yeah, the
Yeah,
younger generation.
absolutely. Yeah, it was much more challenging then, but living in the times then before social media and before cell phones, we figured out the way to make it happen. But the most important moral of that story is just having the courage to ask. It's not necessarily easy, but having the courage to ask, and that was the beginning of a lifelong relationship.
Wow, I love that. Yes, this
Hmm.
is a good message for our listeners as well. And when you talked about that your coach served as the role model, that means you saw in him a future version of yourself.
Yes, yes, I sure did. That's exactly how it happened. And that's just one example. I have many other examples as well, but that was the first one that came to mind because at that time in my career, I was at the mid-level with the federal government and kind of trying to figure out what to do next to get to the next level because the opportunities become fewer and fewer and fewer as you get closer to the top of an organization, but there's still an equal number of people that are competing for fewer positions. So I had to be very, very strategic to set myself apart from some of the other applicants for a few senior level roles. And I felt that he would be the perfect person to walk me through that process.
Wow. Thank you
Yeah.
so much for sharing. Okay, my next question is about goals. Do you set goals for yourself or intentions? And what is one of your next projects?
Absolutely. So goal setting is very, very key, not just in the mind, but you have to write it down. So I'm a firm believer in writing down goals. So what I do, Carolyn, is I prepare my calendar every week. Every week, Monday through Friday, I prepare in terms of scheduled meetings, different activities, different projects, contracts that I'm responsible for, and I write everything down. And that's kind of part of my planning, part of my goal setting to make sure that I get everything done. But I'm also, even right now, as we're speaking, I'm thinking about what's going to take place next year and what we're going to be doing with the business next year. So, one of the big projects that the Johnson Leadership Group will be involved with starting at the end of this year, 2024, but really working toward 2025, is to expand to the international market. So we'll be doing more work globally, not just in the United States of America. And that requires goal setting. There's a lot of work as it relates to culture, language, taxes, currency, economy, appetite for the service that we actually offer to our clients. And so a lot of goals and a lot of goal setting goes into that. So my next big project, one of them, is to do much more work internationally as we move into the next year. And we're working on putting a lot of things in place right now, even as we speak.
Oh, absolutely. I I bet you do because it's already done. This is an international podcast. You are in Germany right now. You
Yes,
love it.
yes,
We have a great currency called euro,
yeah,
and and we have people not so challenging, so to
right,
say.
right.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and
not too long ago, I was in Paris for the Summer Olympic Games, and really, really enjoyed it, and very much familiar with the currency there throughout Europe. And I've been to your nation at least once as a part of my government career, Stuttgart, and really, really had a great time. A lot of great hospitality.
yes. So you will come back one day doing business. This is so awesome, you know. Thank you so much for our interview. Now I think I have one last question. It's about where can we find you when people reach out to you? Yes, tell us
Yes.
about that.
So yeah, Carolyn, you when you did your introduction, you mentioned the business, the Johnson Leadership Group. So that's the name of the company, and the website is thejohnsonleadershipgroup.com. And I can be reached by way of email at kevin@thejohnsonleadershipgroup.com as well. And we do offer a complimentary 20-minute executive coaching session. You can sign up right there on the website, anyone who's interested. But you can also see all the work that we're doing, the customers that we support, the leadership training, the executive coaching. Our calendar is there as well, and also our books, Leadership with a Servant's Heart. Our books are listed there as well, and they're very, very easy to purchase. They're available anywhere that books are sold.
Anywhere in the world. I love that. I love books as well. I created
Yes.
an Amazon list with all the books of my amazing podcast guests. I put it on the list, of course. And now is time for your final thought to the audience, please.
Well, I'm a firm believer in three things, Carolyn. I'm a firm believer in that each and every one of us has a responsibility to be a lifelong learner. And then, based upon what we learn, to put it into action. And then, a culmination of all of that is now to be in a position where we can be better. So, one of my mottos with the Johnson Leadership Group is to um, do more based upon what you learn so that ultimately we can lead better. So, know better, do better, lead better. I love that. I came up with that a few months ago. Know better, do better, lead better. And I'll leave all of your wonderful listeners with that.
Oh, I'm speechless now. Thank you so much. I have to think about it. So, what a great message. Lead better. This is your motto, of
Yes.
course. And I will listen to this again. There were so many nuggets. Thank you, thank you, thank you for our interview.
Thank you. Inspired choice today. Thank you so much.
Thank you and see you in the next episode.